what's going on everybody? ScottDogGaming here. Thanks very much for joining us. As you can see from the video just gone by, we're showing you a quick look, a first look I guess, at the golf club early access available on Steam today. And it's a game that's coming to Xbox and PlayStation. But I just wanted to give you a bit more information because it looks very good in the video. And it mentions the controls, etc., but doesn't really give you too much information away. So I just wanted to tie those bits in with a bit of information from the game, and then you guys can make an informed decision as to whether you want to be involved in the beta and help sort of shape the game, to be honest. So that was the plan. I've stopped here just to show you a little bit about the controls. So looking here, what we have is the HUD information. So obviously top left here we've got information about the course that you're playing, the hole you're on, the par, the yardage, and information there. Then we've got information about the wind, where you're aiming, how far it is to the pin, and the elevation of the hole, or the hole to where you're teeing from. And then up top right corner you've got the yardage that your club will hit, the club you're using, the kind of shot you're playing, and then the tee, or the lie, the ball. So that's that screen there. Let's just push on a little bit. Here we get to the controls. So these will be fairly familiar to you, I'm sure. Left stick is aim, right stick up and down to do your swing. Now obviously first thing you're going to think is Tiger Woods, which is fair enough because it's identical controls for Tiger Woods. What I would say is, rubbish. What I would say is that the issue I have with Tiger Woods is the amount of movement you can get on the ball, the fact that you play your shot and then any correction can be made using the tapping the A button and changing the direction of years gone by, you know, and it just never really felt that realistic. You know, in golf, if you're any good, you have to put that stuff on the ball as you're hitting it, not afterwards. So that, you know, that's, I'm glad that it's not in this game, and we'll show you a little bit more about that in the next screen. But I just wanted to show you that that's the control mechanism. So intuitive controls, I think, is fair. It feels very, very good, and it is early access, so there'll be tweaks to this. It feels very good. And I'll show you a quick hole in a second, so you can get an idea of what we're talking about. But it is fairly familiar, so I just wanted to highlight that to you. And then next, the advanced mode. You can hold left trigger, and that brings up this menu option here. Now what this does is left stick will change your stance, and then obviously you can draw or fade, backspin, topspin, I believe that is. So that gives you a bit of control over what you're doing. And then here, safety margin, which is this here. Obviously, main part of this is showing you how straight you're hitting the ball. Hit it outside of these, you'll be hooking or slicing. So, you know, that gives you a visual indication as to how good your swing was. So that's that. So we're going to go into the main menu. There we go. Okay, don't know why it took quite so long to load. I'm going to cover. Actually, I'll cover this off now, and then we've got it all covered. So we have play, create course, which I'll show you a bit later on. Create tour, which is obviously coming soon. Message center, stats, and settings. So we'll go through all these in a bit more detail in a bit. We're just going to go straight to play. And then we've got play round, so we can't play a tour or competition at the moment. These will be online and offline, I believe, so you can pick and choose. We've also got local multiplayer, which looks like that could be quite good fun, but we'll go to play. We've got a few different types of playing. Obviously you can add players in here as well, but that's we'll continue from that in a second, but we'll just play stroke play at the moment. And then this brings up the select course now. These are the courses that have been created by the developers, and then over here we've got some courses that look like they've been made by players. So there we go. This brings up search options, so if you know what you're looking for, you can look for that. we're just going to play the first hole, I think. And then this brings up some information. So it's 9 holes, the yardage, how fast the greens are playing, and the difficulty, which I don't know if you noticed was hardest, so that's not going to be ideal. So this is bringing up obviously the information about the first hole. You can choose friends to play against. Over here we can put some of these on, why not, let's do that, and then we'll go to tee off. So
hello there, my name is John and I'd like to welcome you to the golf club. Thank you so much. Let's get this out of the way. Thank you for purchasing the game early. We can't thank you enough. So let's get out there, have some fun. We'll chat about it later.
As you can see, it looks very, very good. Let me just move the mouse there because that will annoy me as well as you. Looks very, very good. You know, for early access, looks fine. Now, what we've got here, obviously, we've gone through the HUD. The other thing we've got is marker view. This will show you where you're aiming. As you can see, those fellas all aimed over the top of the trees. Overview will show you exactly where they landed. I'm not going to do that because I'm a bit of a girl. I'm just going to hit it straight. I was about to hit it then without going through the information. So left trigger brings up the fade or draw options. Aim obviously is done with the left stick there, so I'm not going to move it too far. And then right stick, if you pull it backwards, you go through the varying levels of swing. And we just want to hit it 100%, so we're going to go all the way back and forward. So 97% should be fine for a layup.
Looks like you'll be in the short stuff here.
Fairly straight, so I'm not too worried about that. Hopefully that gives us a good shot.
All right, we're right around 165 yards out.
So we're 165 yards. Our club will hit it 158, so that's not ideal. And we're 10 foot up as well, so I'm going to go up a club, I think. And now we're getting into an area I shouldn't have messed with. Okay, so I haven't done any of this before, so this is going to be good for both of us. We're aiming straight at the pin. Let's go for it. A touch of wind. I don't know if that's going to make too much odds, but just move it a little bit to the left, and now I'm going 185 yards. Here we go. That looks a bit better. See how we get on with that. So not too shabby there. We're on the green.
Nice. This
I think we're aiming
for birdie.
Pretty much dead straight. Let's just bring up the mark here. You know, the same old, nice, same old that we've seen so many times before. We're going downhill very slightly, and we're moving from left to right. So let's just aim this way slightly. Now I don't know how we go about power in the putter, so it's 18 foot to where we're aiming, and the putter goes 105 feet. So to me, I need to hit it about 20% power, but I don't think that's strictly how it works. You know, and I think, to be fair, in this sort of game, I think you have to get used to the putting, and I think it should require skill. You know, and I think I quite like the idea of that. So let's just test it out and see how we get on. Rolling it down the hill there. Ah, been robbed.
All right, about a 3-footer here. Nice putt.
There we go. Won't worry about how straight the swing was. So there you go. There's an overview.
Even par after the first hole.
I knew he was about to talk. There's an overview of how to play a hole. I'm not going to continue. You guys can. I'm sure there'll be lots of videos on this, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the controls there. So that's that done. Okay, so we've touched on how to play. I just want to touch, I guess, on exactly what the game entails and what options are available. Obviously we can come back in here. We touched on these aren't available just yet. the moment you can only play around. You can choose your different types of match play here. You can add players, you can take players away. So that's that. Just touching back on the menu option. Create a course I'm going to come back to, so let's just have a little look. Create a tour, we can't do anything on. Messages, I'm assuming this will tell you if there's new courses, players been beating your targets, etc. So we're not going to touch on that too much. Stats, now this will assume will tell you about your own stats and how they compare against your friends on Steam or Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, any of those things. And last but not least, we've got settings. There's not a huge amount to do in here. Audio obviously allow you to change the audio settings. At the moment, there is no display settings. Before the game loads, Steam Early Access, you've got you can choose your high, low, or medium graphical settings and your resolution, and whether it's Windows or full screen. So hard offset is available here. Moves various elements towards the centre of the screen. So that gives you an idea of those. Gameplay. You can change obviously information about that's on the screen, but also I guess it makes it harder or easier depending on what you want to do. And then you can change cameras as well here. And then controls. Left stick swing. Select to on to swap the left stick to the right right stick, etc. So that's just that. And then default controls, your keyboard and mouse, or a controller, or a gamepad. So I don't know how easy the mouse would be. I'm assuming it's left and right. I mean, I'm not going to go into that, but if you do want to know how that works, let me know and I'll do a quick video on it. But I'd assume most people would play it and it's been optimised for a gamepad would be my guess. And then social, at the moment just show rival scores, but I'm assuming this might have social network interaction and various other things would be my guess. But so that covers off those things. The only thing left on this menu is course creation, and we'll show you that as soon as we've finished with the last part of the video. Last but not least, we've got the create course. Now let's just go straight into this. I've got a feeling it'll probably be easier to use the mouse on this. I'm just going to go straight in. So you get a few options. A couple aren't available at the moment, but we're going to choose. Let's choose an all-on course. Now what this tells us is that we can choose the amount of trees that we want. Right bumper button will work as well. As you can see in the background, as we do this, it's generating the amount. So we're going to have lots of trees, and we're going to generate some water. Let's also have a fair amount of water. This takes a little bit of time because it's doing this in the background. So you can see various lakes, etc. appearing. Hills, we'd like quite a few of those. And you've got next or randomise. So randomise takes you through these things. Let's just take it back to where we were. Probably should have shown you randomise first. We're going to have lots of everything, and then we're going to go down to next, and that brings up the course that we've got. We want the course difficulty being, say, medium. You want all 18 holes. Give it a name, and off it goes. And as you can see, it's generating where it thinks the hole should be. Now I can go straight in and play this. I can edit the holes. I can edit the layout. So let's start with that one. It shows you how many par 3s, how many par 4s, the greens, the slope of the greens, the hazards on the green. So it's quite in depth. The speed of the greens, and you can change them to. We'll have it as relatively fast. There we go. What else have we got on this? options here, slopes, etc. So that gives you an idea as to what's on there. The fairways, again, the amount of hazards. As you can see, as we do this, keep an eye on the center of the screen. It's putting more or less hazards in. So if you don't want to get too hands-on, you can do it all from here. You can change the width of your fairways, how rough the rough is, I would imagine. So it's quite nice. It's got a good feel to it. Terrain, you can go in, you can add hills. Now if we go up to many hills, that will change the lay of the land to if we went all the way down to flat. So just it's quite easy to get to grips with. Now I'm sure if you're quite happy to do it, you can do it manually. Obviously you've got your raise button here, you choose a type of option. So let's go with one of these, and as you can see, it's got a little tiny icon in the middle there that we're going to be using. You can scale that, so let's particularly big, rotate it round slightly, and then this raises the turf up. So you have to be working your way into this, and maybe using a soft brush to begin with, but that gives you a good idea as to what it allows you to do. So let's just come back out of that, see what other options we've got here. Okay, and then we've got create or add. What does this do? You can create bunkers, you can place objects. So let's just go in here, go to buildings. We've got bathroom, a gazebo. Let's zoom in and place, this is hole 1, T area. Yeah, so this is the T on hole 1. We've already got a clubhouse over here, but let's give them another one. Why not? So there you go. That was fairly painless. Bridges over golf buggy down. So it's quite nice. You can put some animals in. I don't quite know. Oh, I've got an animal driving the golf buggy. It's not quite what I meant to do. There we go. So that just gives you a good idea as to exactly where you start. We'll stick a rock over here. Why not? So yes, it's you can do an awful lot without having to do anything, but you can also get hands-on and and stick things in where you want them to be, where you want them to be. So if you really want to go in depth, you can do that. If you're quite happy letting the computer generate a lot of it, then by all means do that. Let's just follow this hole down. We can see that there's not a great deal of hazards in here. So let's go and choose a bunker. I don't think we want a particularly absolutely straight bunker, but let's stick a bunker over here. We'll scale it up a little bit, we'll spin it round a little bit, and we'll stick that in there. Go, and there's a bunker created. So it is quite nice. You can do what you want, really. It's quite straightforward, and then you move on to the next hole. So I think that probably covers off enough of what you need to see. I can't see that there's too much more. You can change the length of the holes. You can change. Don't know how if I go to this, I don't quite know how I change the so we're moving everything there. So I don't really want to do that. Don't quite know how I move where hole. Jesus. What's going on here? Oh, I see. So I'm still moving it. Let's undo that. Wonder if we can... I don't quite know how we move the... oh, there we go. I think that's going to do it though, you know. So that moves everything. Don't quite know how we change the actual location of this. So if we wanted to move this hole over here, for example, I don't quite know how we do that. But in the video, there was a clip of them doing it, so I'm assuming it's fairly straightforward. But I don't quite know how we do that at the moment. So there's a good overview, I think, of exactly what you can do. No, it is. Oh, there we go. Move. I don't know if that's going to do anything. Oh, there we go. So that's this. So if we wanted to change this over here, it'd be crossing a different. We were having a couple of dog legs. There we go. You know, you've got quite straightforward options to do what you want, really. You know, it is quite cool. I quite enjoy it. So, you know, if you really want to get hands-on, I'm sure you can, and I would imagine there'll be lots of new items to place coming out of that. So there's an overview of the rest of the, I guess, the options available at this moment in time. I wanted to bring you the video just so you could make your decision as to whether you invest your money in it. It's about £23, I think, so it is quite a lot for an early access game, and there isn't that much to do at the moment, although with other players creating holes and courses, you know, you're always going to be able to do that. I think when online play comes in, it'll be very good, and I think it will be quite popular online. You know, and I'm not too concerned about the lack of real players, etc. If anything, I think it maybe makes it slightly better, and the fact that you'll have online competitions makes it even better than that. So I think, you know, it's got a lot of potential, but it is very early days, and as we know with early access, games can disappear in an instant. The support for them can disappear, and the work on them can disappear. I don't think this would be the case, especially coming out on all of these formats. You know, they're gonna be heavily investing into it, I would imagine. But there you go. Let us know what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe button, follow us on Twitter at ScottDogGaming, and we will see you again soon.